Hello everyone, I hope you're very well. Today we're gonna be working on this little Montezuma cypress. When I show you the video on how I transplanted my rook over rock ficus, I show you this little guy, and I mentioned that I bought this from the same guy that sold me the pot, the bonsai pot that I used on the transplant video. So today we're gonna transplant this little guy into its colander. We're gonna use a colander for this one. We have it right here. I'm reutilizing a colander that I used for juniper that I now transplanted to a bigger pot or a bigger container. And so let's see what we can find. As you can see, it's planted in your regular garden soil. Since I bought this on the internet, the vendor uses a little bit of tape to number them and to let the clients know what tree is it that they're buying, right? And we can see that it's healthy, it's nice. Let's see what we can find in that little soil bag, okay, nursery bag. Well, I'm gonna place the phone down and then we can proceed with the transplant. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna use as substrate. I think I'm gonna show you the substrate right away because it's gonna be difficult to move the camera once it's set. But there we go. It's your regular, my regular bonsai soil mixture. It's zeolite and it's got worms castings, and it's also got your regular black garden soil. Yeah. So you can say that it's a bit darker than usual, and that's because I'm going to be using more organic matter in this case. Just because this is actually going to go underwater, yeah, underwater. Not completely covered, but the soil is going to be completely covered by water because I'm going to be placing this colander inside this container. I'm going to fill it with water, so the soil is covered. So let's go ahead and do that, and then, we'll see what we find. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is cut the nursery back. By no means should you pull a plant out of the nursery bag because you might damage it, and you might damage the roots that are so important whenever you're transplanting. Yeah. So like I mentioned, this little guy is planted in your regular garden soil. So we're going to see what we have in terms of new roots. Okay. I'm going to pause the video a little bit. And so we can see that we got nice roots over here. To be perfectly honest with you, this is the first time that I work with Montezuma cypresses. Yeah. I don't know how it behaves. I just researched the kind of soil that it likes. And of course, you know by now that this is a species that grows directly in contact with water. Yeah. Just like your bald cypresses. The swamp cypresses that you have in Florida and whatnot. Well, this is very closely related to that species. Yeah. So we're gonna remove the soil, not all of it, of course, and we're definitely not going to wash the roots, but we just want to see what kind of root structure we're working with, and if we can, we are going to remove any tap roots that we might have that might be detrimental for this little guy growing in a shallow pot in the future. Yeah, so we definitely have some strong roots over here. Well, those are the ones that we're going to have to remove. Yeah, this is a perfect example of what happens when you don't remove the tap root. See that? See how it goes down? It reached the bottom of the pot, the container where it was, the little nursery bag, and then started to go like this, And as a result, we see that the girth of the tree hasn't changed in maybe 2 years that this has been grown in that little pot. Sorry, that little nursery bag. So what we're going to do is completely remove that tap root, We're going to remove it. And we can see, and we're going to be able to see that it completely changes this plant growth pattern in the near future. Look at that. Okay. So taproot off. We'll still have a fair amount of roots. Remove the longer ones. I'm gonna cut a little bit more so it's a bit more flush. Yeah. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that's it. That's about all that we're going to do when it comes to the roots. Okay. Now I'm gonna proceed to fill the colander with soil. And I'm going to use the same container, otherwise I'm going to make a mess here. Okay, so I go in and I proceed to fill it just so that we have that traditional mound in the middle. That's like standard procedure whenever I transplant trees. By the way, I remember that there was this video where I transplanted little pines. And I also mentioned that little mound in the middle. And I'm telling you about this because I'm going to do an update very soon on those little pines. We use a little bit of that soil that we just removed from the nursery bag. Yeah. Why? Microorganisms. You already know, right? Okay. We place it there. And we continue filling it up. Yeah, oops, sorry. Okay. There we go. Interestingly, it seems like I mixed the right amount. Not too much, not too little. The right amount of soil. And that's a first. So this Monday is starting to look like a good Monday. Yeah. Okay, that's it. So let's go ahead and water this, and then we'll fill the container is going to sit in with water. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so we're here. And now what we do is just, water this gently. And then we place it in the other container, the one that's going to be submerged. Yeah. And I'm just watering so this soil it goes to the bottom, It just settles in nicely. Yeah. And then I put it here. Pack the soil in. And then fill the container with water. It's not going to completely cover the soil, the baseline of the soil. But I'm always going to keep enough water so that there is a level, a water level in the container. So this is all to give the tree what it has in nature, the conditions where it naturally grows in. And now that we transplanted it, trivia question, we transplanted it, we removed a bunch of roots. So do you think we should maybe remove foliage? Like I said before, that when we transplant and we remove roots, we should also remove foliage so it doesn't become stressed or shocked. What do you think? Well, the answer is no. Because remember, Montezuma cypress, bald cypress or swamp cypress, this is very closely related to pines. It's a conifer, yeah, like the sequoia or Metasequoia tosturboides or the dawn redwood, it's not actually a pine. It's not actually, you know, a Japanese black pine, for example, but it's closely related. In fact, if you look at the seed cones, those are like little pine cones. Yeah, so that's really cool. They're closely related, and therefore we're not going to remove any foliage. The foliage that it has, this new foliage, is going to help the plant to develop new roots. You know, to push out new roots because it's recently been, cut. This foliage was going to drive the root generation in this little guy. Okay, so as with any transplant, we're going to leave this in a shaded spot where it gets indirect light, and then we're going to move it to its final location where it's going to have lots of sunlight. Yeah. Okay, so that's it for this video, guys. I hope you liked it. If you have any questions, doubts, or anything, please drop them down below. I'll keep you posted on this little guy, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.